jump into our next topic. So of course we know there was recent price drops across the board for all the different Tesla models. But what if the price drops were because of something else and not necessarily because of order demand coming into the queue? So or was it? I mean, could be two different reasons here, and we'll talk about like what actually happened with these price drops. Was it because of order demand or lack of order backlog, or was it because of a certain material that has just recently dropped as well? So we'll talk about both of them and what potentially could be for both of that. But if you're just joining in, my name is Dennis. I love talking about Tesla hacking, as I like to call it, but basically just getting the best deal on Tesla at the best possible price, or just getting really good financing. So if you're interested in any of that, please hit that subscribe. And today's video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link, where you can get the best Tesla buying guide out there that has links to all the credit unions and banks that all have interest rates lower than Tesla financing. So definitely check it out. Link down below in the description. All right, so let us take a look at this. Shout out to Inside EVs for this article. Estimated Tesla order backlog potentially explains most recent price changes. So of course, this article cites our Twitter friend Troy Teslike, which tracks all the different delivery numbers, production numbers, estimates on that. But also another thing that Troy tracks, which is really interesting that I don't see anybody else tracking, is order backlog. So this is like number of orders in the queue that potentially are pending orders and things like that. And so what this article actually goes into, it looks like the order backlog has decreased, which makes sense because they're selling vehicles, but the time frame between when people are actually getting vehicles, or the wait time, has also decreased as well, which much shorter wait times, and essentially wait times across the country as well. So this could be a potential explanation on why the price drops have came down, and that's really because there's less demand in the queue, right? There's not as many people waiting to buy a Model 3 or Model Y. I mean, we know for sure there's not as many people waiting to buy a Model S or X. And the one easy way to see this is just taking a look at inventory charts. You can see right here on the screen, Model 3 inventory from mattjung.net, the website here. Model 3 inventory is starting to go up a little bit. If we go to the Model Y side, Model Y has also been trickling up. Not as crazy as this Model 3 chart with this crazy rise right here with Model 3 inventory, but still on a trending upward increase for Model Ys. And taking a look at the inventory charts or inventory websites like waitingfortesla.com, we can start to see there is a good amount of inventory piling up for Model 3, Model Y, and S and X. So is that the reason why was that most recent price drop, or is it something else? So here's a tweet from Dan Carew. Shout out to Dan Carew on Twitter. Tesla margins and price drops in 2023. The price of the lithium-ion battery cells, a larger component of an electric vehicle, has been dropping fast because the mineral prices used to make these cells. The price for 90% of 2023 has been cheaper than any point of 2022, and Berlin and Austin are ramping fast. So, of course, this is the material cost of the lithium piece of the battery, and the price of this has been dropping. So, is this just a scenario in which good guy Tesla or the Tesla team has a lower cost of building these vehicles, and they want to pass it directly down to the customer, which is you and me? So this could be potentially it. I mean, we'd love to think that maybe it's a combination of two, because we, as a Tesla investor, we definitely want demand for Model 3, Model Y, S, and X. But of course, at the same time, if Tesla were to drop these prices, we still want them to be profitable. So we've definitely heard Elon and the team speak on earnings calls about whether or not they price these vehicles ahead of time, in which they try and price in how much these materials will cost to build these vehicles. The one thing we know for sure is that there is a earnings call in 10-11 days from now. We will hear as much as we can, and most likely someone is going to ask, are you pricing in material costs and all that stuff into your new pricing, and what is your margin at the moment for your Tesla vehicles? I mean, in the past they've talked about $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 of profit margin for Model 3 and Model Y, or I think Model Y. And so if it still stays at that and they can reduce costs in manufacturing in these factories, Berlin, Austin, start to ramp up even faster and even more, then maybe the cost of these vehicles are also starting to come down for Tesla, which is a good sign for everybody, I guess, right? But definitely some pretty interesting stuff. Let me know what your thoughts on it. We're going to go ahead and jump into our next topic. But before we do that, this video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link. Down below in the description, there's a Patreon link where you can support the channel. And there's a variety of benefits, so definitely check it out if you are interested. Actually, we'll jump into some